Why do you lie like this, Blake? Why? Why do you do this? Do you understand you are not smarter than the internet?
Justin Baldoni has just exposed Blake Lively for submitting fake evidence directly to the court, a serious criminal offense. Now, Blake's future hangs in the balance. Personally, I find her
really think Blake Lively sucks, and I think Ryan Reynolds is a bully.
Blake Lively genuinely thought she could pull off one of the biggest cons in Hollywood, but she was exposed in the worst possible way. By submitting fake evidence, she essentially labeled herself a liar. She thought she could manipulate the system, deleting crucial—
This isn't going to end well for you, Blake. Sorry.
But Justin Baldoni wasn't backing down. He turned the tables so fast that Blake probably didn't know what hit her. Now, she's scrambling, as his $400 million counter-lawsuit is not just a legal fight. It's an all-out attack on her career, her credibility, and could easily wipe out her entire fortune.
Basically saying you're a liar, you misrepresent who you are.
Blake thought this would be an easy win. She had Hollywood elites, the media, and even her husband, Ryan Reynolds, in her corner. But now, even Reynolds is pulling away. In the court of public opinion, they've already lost. He knows Blake is sinking, and is not about to go down with her. The industry that once adored her is now distancing itself because no one wants to be tied to a fraud who got caught red-handed.
It's control, that's selfishness, that's entitlement. This woman is a monster.
The moment the truth started to surface, the Hollywood machine that once supported her went eerily quiet. Blake thought her connections would protect her, but the reality is that when you're caught in a lie, even the most powerful people can't save you.
None of it was just due to the fact that she seems like a rather shitty person.
The most humiliating part of this whole saga is how Blake tried to manipulate evidence and got caught in the act. Her case was built on fake proof, and when that started to crumble, she tried to cover her tracks by deleting key text messages that directly contradicted her claims. Remember how she originally used those texts to make Justin look bad? Well, now those texts are mysteriously gone, because they actually prove she was trying to set him up.
The court of public opinion, they've lost.
Oh, and we can't forget about that sneaky 50-page amendment she filed in the middle of the night. She clearly thought no one would notice, but the internet caught on fast. Who files a major legal update?
Note the consequence has been terrible for Blake and Ryan in terms of people following them.
Her original accusations were built on fake HR complaints. She claimed that studio executives had concerns about Justin's behavior, but both Sony and Wayfair Studios denied ever receiving such complaints. So, she completely fabricated the whole thing.
It's insane. What are you talking about? She genuinely is not aware of how insane she sounds.
By now, the court had no choice but to dismantle her case. Blake's so-called evidence had been altered, cropped, and manipulated. This wasn't just selective memory, it was fraud. Once the court saw through the lies, it was game over. But where does she go from here?
A lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits in this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake.
The courtroom scene was an utter disaster for Blake. Her high-powered legal team walked in thinking they were untouchable, but within 90 minutes, everything came crashing down. Not 90 days, not 90 hours, just 90 minutes. That's how quickly it fell apart.
Blake Lively, much more different culturally, more about the power and thinking that this is about the feminist Me Too movement. How dare you do this?
It only took 90 minutes for Baldoni's legal team to completely dismantle her argument. Every motion her lawyers filed was shut down, each and every one.
That incredibly telling, hidden in a little footnote, her protection that, well, you know, I was told they were lawfully obtained. Yikes. Big yikes.
One of the most embarrassing moments was when Blake tried to file a protective order to keep certain evidence hidden. She was desperate to keep things under wraps, but the judge saw right through it and denied her.
That's insane and that's crazy. And this is a reason why I think in the future people are just not going to work with her, because it's starting to add up. People are realizing that this is a pathology.
But it gets worse. She even tried to silence Justin's lawyer, Brian Fredman, from speaking about the case in public. After months of weaponizing the media, leaking fake claims to outlets like the New York Times, and trying to turn Hollywood against Justin, Blake suddenly wanted to shut down the one person who could expose her. The court denied her request, leaving Fredman free to reveal all of Blake's lies to the public.
What ended up happening was yesterday, Justin Baldoni's attorneys got back regarding that filing, and they basically called them out, as they always do, and I'm going to show you what they said. They said, given how actively the Lively parties have publicized and litigated Ms. Lively's claims in the media.
By this point, it was clear that Blake's legal team had nothing left. They sat there looking lost while Fredman tore apart their arguments like a bad screenplay. Every motion they filed was rejected, and their attempt to regain control of the case was shut down. It wasn't just a legal loss, it was an absolute humiliation.
Of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
And as if it couldn't get worse, the judge warned Blake that if she kept using media manipulation, her trial date might be moved up from March 2020. That's right. She was under the illusion that she had 2 years to clean up the mess.
We are surprised to now learn how vehemently she wants to prevent the public from accessing material and relevant evidence. The Lively parties provided the New York Times with Ms. Lively's otherwise confidential administrative complaint filed with the California Civil Rights Department.
Let's be real. Hollywood is all about power, and when you lose that, you're on your own. Ryan Reynolds, once the golden boy of Hollywood, has gone completely silent on his wife's legal disaster. The man who can't stop making jokes or inserting himself into every
Will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have, because the truth should be out there.
It's clear that Reynolds knows Blake's career is done for, and is distancing himself as fast as he can. Hollywood PR experts are already whispering about.
The judge chose to not impose the gag order on Justin Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman today, but did threaten to move up the trial if the media press war continues.
Ryan's whole career has been about maintaining a perfect public image. Charming, funny, and scandal-free. Now, that image is at risk because of Blake's reckless decisions. Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation countersuit is more than Blake and Ryan's combined net worth. If Blake loses, and it's looking more likely every day, she will be financially ruined.
He's already said, basically, Brian Friedman has already said that he doesn't believe Blake Lively and that she thinks that she wants publicity and that she's proven that she wants publicity.
Let's be clear. Ryan is not legally obligated to cover Blake's losses. He could easily wash his hands of the situation and protect himself while she drowns in legal fees. And with his $350 million fortune on the line.
I don't like your lawyer, and I don't want to sit down with him and answer questions and tell the truth. So she's trying to get out of having to sit down and be deposed by Brian Friedman. Like, sweetheart, that's not your...
Baldoni's legal team has all the proof they need. The evidence against Blake is solid. 179 pages of hard facts that prove her lies, media manipulation, and attempts to ruin Justin's career. The court has seen the receipts, and there's no way out for Blake now.
She's a serial fraudster. That's called fraud. She's a Me Too victim there. That's absurd.
Reynolds' refusal to defend his wife speaks volumes. People are starting to wonder why. Maybe he knows she's guilty. Or perhaps his Hollywood PR team has told him to cut ties before her mess drags him down too. Either way, he's distancing himself, and fast.
He is, his agent is Ari Emanuel. He's a powerful Hollywood guy, and we all respond to Hollywood power. And there's a hypocrisy and a fraudulence there that the public is picking up on. And so that's really interesting. Now,
Ryan Reynolds has built his entire career on maintaining a perfect public image. Funny, charming, scandal-free. But now, all of that is at risk because of Blake's reckless choices. Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation countersuit is no joke. It's worth more than both Blake's and Ryan's combined net worth. If Blake loses, which is looking more likely every day, she could be financially obliterated.
It's part of being in the public eye. She's just used to being Hollywood's golden girl, and she had such thin skin that after having a couple negative things happen to her for a month, she had to blame him. She decided to blame him.
Let's be clear. Ryan is under no legal obligation to cover her losses. He could easily walk away and protect himself while Blake drowns in legal fees. Hollywood PR experts are already whispering about a possible divorce. Let's face it, Reynolds won't sacrifice his brand for Blake's self-inflicted disaster. Hollywood has officially turned its back on her. The industry that once adored her is now blacklisting her as a
decided to blame him, and boy, did she open up a hornet's nest and learn, be careful what you wish for, because now you've got the fight you asked for, and you're not winning it.
Major studios like Warner Brothers, Marv, and Sony are reportedly cutting all ties with her. Why? No one wants to be linked to a scandal of this magnitude. Blake is now a walking PR disaster, and no studio is willing to risk millions on an actress who might be exposed as a liar in court. The industry doesn't forgive financial risks, and the public
they're watching everyone on TikTok, they're watching everyone on Instagram say, what you did is not okay. And they're standing in front of the world and they're saying, we can't be canceled because we're too connected. So what? Sorry for the rest of you guys. Sorry for the rest of you idiots who are beneath us. We just have to make a phone call to Ari Emanuel and we can get into a skit. And how we treat people doesn't matter.
Casting Blake Lively is now considered a financial risk, but perhaps the biggest betrayal is from her own best friend, Taylor Swift. Remember when Taylor used to name drop Blake and Ryan as the ultimate power couple? That's over. Taylor Swift has gone completely radio silent.
Public noticed. The public noticed that things were weird and things began to backfire on you, okay?
She's not defending Blake. She's not speaking out on her behalf. That silence is deafening. Hollywood knows when to distance itself from a sinking ship, and Taylor has clearly realized that Blake's mess isn't worth the risk.
Brian Friedman subpoenas Taylor Swift's text messages. Wink, wink, that's what I want, that's what I want to see. And it reveals that actually Taylor Swift was LOLing with Blake Lively about being a dragon. She's like, yeah, I'm a dragon.
And Taylor isn't the only one bailing. Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, recently scrubbed all Blake-related content from her social media. If that doesn't scream, I want nothing to do with this disaster, I don't know what does. It's baffling why Blake was even cast in the film adaptation of Hoover's book, but now the author is pretending Blake never existed. This is how bad it's gotten.
Well, Blake Lively's team is essentially requesting the right for their attorney to just designate that AEO, attorney eyes only, because that might unfairly harm the reputation of Taylor Swift.
Other Hollywood A-listers have also gone silent. Scarlett Johansson, Jennifer Lawrence, and Emma Stone, once friendly with Blake, haven't uttered a word. They know better than to get involved with a crumbling career. Even the New York Times, which initially supported Blake's claims, is now backtracking, realizing they might have backed the wrong side. This is a full-blown Hollywood abandonment, and Blake is completely alone in the mess she created.
Reference third parties or expressly apply its process to them. So they're saying it doesn't go far enough, Taylor Swift won't be protected.
Now, that $400 million lawsuit is looming over her like a guillotine. If she thought this was just a simple legal battle, she was dead wrong. Baldoni isn't playing games. His defamation lawsuit is more than Blake and Ryan's combined net worth. If she loses, which is becoming more likely by the day, she won't just face a setback, she'll be completely wiped out.
Context of that exchange shows that they're out there combating lies.
And don't expect Ryan to save her. Despite his $350 million fortune, he's under no obligation to bail her out. He's too smart to throw his money into a losing battle. There's no way he's risking his Deadpool 3 earnings, his aviation business, or his Wrexham FC investments to clean up Blake's mess. If Blake thought Ryan would swoop in with a check and fix everything, she's in for a rude awakening. He's
basically saying that she does not want to sit down for a deposition with Brian Friedman. Like, I know that this girl grew up rich and privileged, but how rich we talking? You know what I'm saying? Because does she think she's like a princess that she can just be like, I don't like your lawyer?
The worst part? Baldoni has all the proof he needs. This lawsuit isn't based on speculation. It's backed by 179 pages of hard evidence that prove Blake's fabrications, her media manipulation, and her attempts to ruin Justin's career. Every deleted message, every altered document, and every inconsistent statement, he's got it all. The court has seen the receipts, and Blake has nowhere to run.
Pretty strong argument. Now you're saying like anything being revealed to the public would be too much, but weren't you guys the one that like made like a whole movie, Deadpool, about what was happening? Your whole thing was a publicity tour. You know, it's giving like a never-ending publicity tour, but I want my privacy, Meghan Markle type vibes. Like, is there a little bit of a conflict between the words coming out of your attorney's mouths and your actions?